Let me take this opportunity to thank Trammell Crow for having us here, the entire team at IRP for putting all of this together, many sponsors as well. Thank you very much. So in 5 minutes, I'm going to try to cover 5 things. I want to talk about the big picture in terms of the blue economy, how we can unlock that for global resilience. I'd like to talk about some insights into the blue economy itself, the importance to islands, some of the challenges and solutions as we see it in 5 minutes. So let's start big picture. And I want to start by saying, first of all, that I have a sense of hope, actually, looking around this room, seeing some of the people who I know are innovators. We have a number of ambassadors here, people in private sector, NGO, and so on. And really and truly, with this type of gathering, we want to bring people together to, as Christopher said to me yesterday, to manifest, to make things happen. And that's what it's all about. Last night, if you went to the gala, to the dinner, one of the speakers started by invoking the Texas as a great spacefaring state by saying 4321, he was referring to his children, and Houston, we have a problem. But in fact, Houston, we have solutions. I'd like to start with that big picture view, but taking you back to 1990, February 14th, Valentine's Day 1990, Voyager 1 spacecraft was 6 billion kilometers away from planet Earth. They turned the cameras back to Earth, took a picture, and what ended up in that picture was a pixel, just a pixel of planet Earth, which later became the inspiration for Carl Sagan's book, Pale Blue Dot, in 1994. Have a read of it if you haven't done so already. Because in fact, if you took a space plane and you came to Earth from across over the Pacific, for example, what you would see is a planet that you would probably want to call water, because we are 71% ocean, as many of you know. Over 90% of our biosphere is actually in the ocean. It produces 50% of the oxygen we breathe, cycles 25% of the carbon, 17% of the protein that we eat comes from the sea, feeding some 3 billion people. Thinking about the blue economy specifically, and just, you know, we have roughly 20 to 80,000 terawatt hours of energy available to us from the ocean. Now that is 1 to 4 times our current electricity consumption, and that can come from wind. 90% of our wind potential is actually over the ocean, comes from wave, tidal, OTEC, and so forth. 63% of our drugs come from nature. And in fact, we have some 15,000 new chemical entities from the ocean. 30% of that come from soft sponges. In Jamaica, the first successful treatment for HIV/AIDS, AZT, actually came from a Jamaican sea sponge. So when we talk about blue economy, we've mentioned renewables, we've talked about blue biotech, sustainable aquaculture, sustainable fisheries, sustainable tourism, sustainable coastal infrastructure, sustainable ocean finance, and things like blue education. That's all part of the blue economy package. When we put all of this together, some work done by BCG and WWF put a value, an asset value on the ocean of $24 trillion. That produces a gross marine product of 2.5 trillion per year, and 70% of that is reliant on a healthy ocean. Now, the islands have a key role to play in all of this. If you look at the exclusive economic zones of islands, they're much bigger than the land masses. In Grenada, I was always pleased to know that 75% we had an ocean space that was 75 times more than our landmass. But in Tonga, it's 900 times. In the Seychelles, it's 3,000 times. Kiribati, 4,000 times more space in the sea than they do on land, and up to 30,000 times for places like for Tuvalu. So the islands control 34% of our exclusive economic zone around the planet. And no surprise that it was the islands pushing for the idea of the blue economy back in Rio Plus 20 in 1992. And since then, lots of innovations coming from the islands, debt swaps, blue bonds, etc. So they've been pressing ahead. And islands have also been doing some great work on ocean conservation with the 30 by 30 objective, that is to protect 30% of the ocean space. Now, let me just say that I think many of you know the challenge. Frankly, there is fatigue. Fatigue with all the readiness exercises, fatigue with the pilots. People want to go to scale. They want to get these solutions, all these great blue economy solutions, be it renewable energy and so, they want to get these things to scale. And delighted with some of the speakers that we have lined up today who are going to be talking about plug-and-play approaches that we're going to be hearing about, the role of AI and so forth. And we'll be hearing about some of these things later on today because we want to have predictability as well. That's why I set up a company called Azuros, bringing artificial intelligence to make some of these partnerships happen. But more importantly, here at IRP, we are focused on genuine intelligence, bringing human capital together, partnerships, people. And so as we go through today, we look forward to bringing all of you together, talking about what we can do together, how we can manifest together, how we can move the needle on blue economy and create a more resilient planet. Thank you.